What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the brand new Awesemo Fantasy Football YouTube channel, where we talk everything fantasy football, get you ready for your upcoming 2021 season. And today we are going to be continuing with an individual player breakdown, focusing on Trey Sermon, rookie running back for the San Francisco 49ers. And without further ado, let's dive in. But before we get started, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. But kicking things off with Trey Sermon, of course, he's the third round rookie. The 49ers selected him with the 88th overall pick. And for the purposes of this video, we'll mainly be talking Trey Sermon's college production from Ohio State, but we'll also dive into what to expect this year with the 49ers. He's in his first season, still 22 and a half years old. He played 4 seasons in college. Trey Sermon does have that prototypical feature back size, 6 feet, 215 pounds, checked in with a 4.58 40-yard dash, which is pretty athletic for the running back position. But looking at Sermon, he played in the Big Ten this last year with Ohio State. They had an abbreviated season due to COVID-19, so we only got 8 games for Trey Sermon, and one of those games ended with just 1 carry. That was the national championship game against Alabama. But in total, he rushes 116 times for 870 yards. He catches 12 balls on 15 targets for another 95 yards, totals 4 touchdowns altogether. Just 15 targets for Trey Sermon. Ohio State doesn't throw to the running back position a lot. They only threw to the running back position 26 times total, but we've seen Sermon in a variety of roles. He started out his college career with Oklahoma, played there for 3 years, and in his first 2 seasons, he actually racked up 744 yards and 947 yards before 2019. In that season, battled injuries. Oklahoma also recruited a future NFL running back in Kennedy Brooks, who had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons himself. So took a little bit of a backseat because of injuries and the timeshare. That's what caused the transfer to Ohio State. But interestingly, that Ohio State season, most of his production came in just 3 games. He had 112 yards against Michigan State. He had 331 yards against Northwestern, and then he had 193 yards against Clemson. Now, that's all fantastic, but we just haven't seen Trey Sermon in a feature back role through the majority of his career. If we go back to all 4 seasons in college, he just has 4 games with 20-plus carries. Now, even at Ohio State, you can see some of the opportunity and efficiency. He played on just 48% of snaps, splitting time with Master Teague. He had 16.4 opportunities per game. That's carries plus targets. But again, a lot of that was concentrated in those 3 games where he amassed over 100 yards. Opportunity share, just 47.5%. So we did see Master Teague with a lot of carries. Other backs had a decent amount of targets here too. And in total, just 7.2% of the targets overall for Sermon. So this is a little bit concerning that he did not handle a full workload really at any point in his career, but he was still efficient, forced 41 missed tackles, 517 yards after contact. When you adjust those on a per attempt basis, you still had Sermon ahead of players like Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. So we just need to see him in a larger workload. Now, moving to the NFL, Sermon enters arguably the best situation a rookie running back could enter. 49ers, they still have Kyle Shanahan calling plays. They've historically been one of the run-heaviest offenses. If we go back to 2019, they were actually 31st in pass rate. That jumped to 18th last year, largely because of injuries and second-half deficits. They lost a lot of players on offense, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, etc. But they've historically been a very good run offense and very run-heavy. This offseason, they've already dealt with some injuries. Jeff Wilson goes down with a meniscus injury that was late in May. He's not expected to play early in the season. They also lose Jerick McKinnon to free agency. That means Trey Sermon is basically just battling Raheem Mostert, and whatever Wayne Gallman gives you, not likely to be very much there. Raheem Mostert's been very efficient throughout his career, but he's still just a 5'11", 185-pound back. He can't play on all 3 downs, which opens the door for Trey Sermon to immediately come in and play a lot of snaps for this 49ers team. And if their run rate is as high as we're expecting it to be, that means we could be seeing Trey Sermon around 15 carries a game with Raheem Mostert around the same number as well. Not to mention, this 49ers team is expected to be very efficient. 10.5 projected wins, double-digit wins there, playing with a lot of friendly game scripts. And then they have the easiest strength of schedule in the NFL this year, which also should lead to a lot of positive play volume for Trey Sermon. Now, this is going to be a timeshare basically no matter what outside of injury. Fortunately, Trey Sermon does have outs to that full workload. Either way, this is going to be a hyper-efficient run game. Right now, Trey Sermon and Raheem Mostert are both coming off the board just outside the top 75 picks, with Trey Sermon narrowly ahead of Raheem Mostert. They're coming off the board after names like Myles Gaskin and Kareem Hunt, but just ahead of other players like Chase Edmonds. That range is very efficient for these backs. Sermon and Mostert, because they don't have that path to a full workload, they're going to be behind some of the bigger backs, the bigger names in fantasy football. However, the offense is so efficient that they still deserve to be taken above other timeshare backs like Chase Edmonds. I prefer Raheem Mostert just ever so slightly over Trey Sermon, but both of these backs have a path to fantasy production this year. That will do it for us at Awesemo.com. I'm Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We'll have mock drafts, best ball drafts, more player breakdowns, everything you can think of fantasy football related. So make sure to stick around. We will catch you again next time.